Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm here in el Parque San Antonio in the center of Medellin, right in the heart of the city. Although the mainstream media may not make it seem like it, we are going through an economic crisis in the world today. Many countries around the world are going through inflation. Their currencies are devaluing, and Colombia is not exempt to that. Here, our Colombian peso has devalued significantly and continues to do so, so people have less buying power with the money they make from working. And that obviously creates conditions for more robberies, for more crime. And I personally think that this is the case, that it's getting more dangerous in Colombia, and not just here, but all over the world. People are desperate, people are angry. I was actually recently robbed. It's my first time after living in Colombia for 2 years being robbed by 3 guys. They took my phone, my wallet, they threatened to stab me. Thank God they didn't do anything to me, but you hear the stories, guys, of people who get robbed, and even if you cooperate, sometimes they end up still stabbing you, or they end up still hurting you. So, unless you really see a good opportunity to run away or to defend yourself, just cooperate, because your phone, your wallet, everything, like everybody always says, you can get that stuff back, but not your life. Bueno, sí, ¿cómo son sus nombres?
Luis Bustamante.
Luis Bustamante y Jairo Bustamante, ¿son hermanos?
Sí, hermanos. Nosotros dos estamos aquí en la ciudad de Medellín. Llegamos hace 4 días.
Sí, 4 días.
Venimos del suroeste de aquí, de Antioquia, aquí mismo de Colombia, donde queda Ciudad Bolívar, nuestro pueblo. Somos campesinos de toda la vida. Nosotros, cultivadores de yuca. Nos querían poner a cultivar otra cosa que era la mata de cocaína. Nosotros no quisimos cultivar esas cosas.
¿Y quién fue los que te estaban proponiendo eso?
La guerrilla.
La guerrilla, ¿y cuál grupo? ¿Saben cuál? ¿LN o...?
Pues
no
allá lo que se ve mucho son las disidencias.
Las disidencias de FARC.
Sí, bueno. Son los mismos que siempre han estado cuando antes se llamaban FARC nada más.
Sí,
ahora
son los mismos ya.
Dentro del pueblo lo que andan son los paramilitares, nosotros somos de las veredas. Ellos llegaron, me dijeron que sembráramos las matas, que cambiáramos la yuca a matas de cocaína, que nos iba a ir mucho mejor. Entonces nosotros nos negamos. Hacemos lo que nuestro padre nos quedó en nuestro corazón. Nuestro padre nos decía, no siembre algo que la tierra le cause mal. Y si usted le siembra sangre, sangre le va a salir. Ajá. La mata de cocaína, nosotros no podemos cultivar esa cosa. Y al negarnos a nosotros, cuando nos paramos como a los 3 días fue iniciar, él me dijo a mí, miró la falda, él está en la cima de la montaña, en la falda de la montaña, y me dijo a mí, mire para abajo que ahí no hay nada. Y yo alumbré con la linterna, y realmente las matas están cortadas como con machete, cortadas. Una yuca que se demora entre 8 meses y año y 2 meses para que la mata crezca, se madure, salga la yuca y que la yuca crezca.
¿Y cuánto tiempo llevaba esa yuca que te cortaron? 3 meses. O sea, ¿ellos qué hicieron? ¿Arrancaron todo?
Sí, dañaron. Y para que nosotros, digamos, por si ellos, queríamos nosotros, recuperar algo, picaron todo, o sea, picaron. Ellos sabíamos bien que el montaño se siempre picaron todo y dañaron todo, como para uno no volver a resembrar la mata. Ajá. Porque si ellos arrancan la mata, no la pueden volver a hacer.
Sí.
En cambio, así, ya esa raíz acá, ya no hay nada de hacer. Nosotros dos nos vinimos por miedo.
Se vinieron a Medellín de Ciudad Bolívar por miedo de que les hicieran algo.
Que ya no iban a mochar las matas y no
era como una
conocían.
obligación ya que teníamos, o sea, es algo que tenemos tocaba como hacer nosotros pues como a las malas, sino, o sea, la verdad es que nosotros desde pequeños pues siempre nos la tocó ganándonos la plata, que, o sea, lo que nosotros ganamos siempre por de la brega. Sí. No haciendo daño a nadie, ni robando a nadie, ni nada de eso, entonces
y siempre
hicimos llevamos la tierra mejor.
Y es por eso que nos está yendo mal, que nosotros dos estamos acostumbrados pero al trabajo, a trabajar. Y nos estamos quedando por acá, por el centro, en la Bastilla, sentados 4 días ya más. Una señora fue la que nos estuvo salvando la vida, que nosotros ya no estamos aguantando más el hambre los 2 días. Y nos dio almuerzo. Es con ese almuerzo que hemos estado hasta ahorita.
¿Y eso fue ayer? O sea, desde el almuerzo de ayer no han comido nada.
No hemos comido en este momento nada.
Y desde lo que habíamos venido desde el pueblo, nada más habíamos comido era eso. Y la señora nos dio, pensando, ya no era de buenos recursos, pero pues entendió que nosotros dos estábamos en una situación muy grave. Lo que no entiende la alcaldía aquí.
Entonces usted me dijo que fuiste a la alcaldía como para poner la denuncia, que ustedes vinieron acá como desplazados.
Para pedir una ayuda, porque nosotros dos necesitamos era eso. Y nos dijeron que primero que todo no había como información de que hubieran sido más desplazamientos. Y que nosotros dos teníamos nuestra casa y nuestra tierra, que el daño que hicieron que pudo haber sido algún vecino. Y que nosotros podíamos volver cuando quisiéramos, o sea, a que nos metan un balazo, a que nos metan, como me decía él a mí, entonces tenemos que venir con la cabeza en una bolsa o dentro de este bolso, o con un pie en este bolso para que usted me diga.
¿Y usted ve que esos manes andan armados?
Están armados.
Sí, la mayoría son grupos armados.
Y dicen que no haya guerrilla, o sea, que ellos no tienen indicios de que haya guerrilla por allá.
¿Y usted qué le dice a esa gente? Pues hay mucha gente que dice que ya en Antioquia no hay guerrilla, pues en estas partes del suroeste, el oriente, que no hay guerrilla, que ya no hay grupo armado, que no hay paraco.
No, eso sí, por todos lados lo hay. Que sean ya un solo grupo, ya de pronto se va a Estados Unidos.
Ajá.
El famoso plan del golfo.
Sí.
No se ha acabado nada de eso. Eso es lo que más se ve, pero no se ve en una ciudad tanto. Se ve en el campo, donde usted no ve sino árboles y poca gente. Nosotros todos estamos metidos en la riqueza para ellos, porque la droga para ellos es lo que los sostiene.
Ajá.
Y nosotros dos, al estar en un campo donde siembran sus vainas, a nosotros no nos llegan a pedirnos eso simplemente por conveniencia de ellos. Y sabíamos muy bien que si nosotros no le damos lo que para ellos significa plata, nos iban a matar.
En todo el tiempo que llevan viviendo allá siempre ha habido grupo armado.
Vea, ya nos dijo en la alcaldía que era la primera vez que ellos escuchaban que hubiera guerrilla allá. Nosotros desde niños, desde los 7 años, estamos saludando la guerrilla y los paramilitares. Y nunca pertenecimos a ninguno, pero desde niños los hemos visto. ¿Cómo nos van a decir ellos que no hay? Ajá. ¿Cómo nos van a decir si nosotros venimos de allá? O sea, eso es mentira. De allá sí la existe, sí la hay, siempre la vi. Siempre la vi. La yuca a vender una tarjeta o a vender, digamos, un confite, es muy duro. O cambiar uno la casita donde estaba por un andén, es duro. Si existe una policía, si existe un ejército, porque tiene uno que estar diciendo de que un paramilitar sea el que controle, o que un guerrillero sea el que controle y el que mande, porque no mandan son los mismos policías o los mismos ejércitos.
O también dicen que a veces los paramilitares trabajan con el ejército.
Exactamente, y eso es verdad.
Cuando está lo de Uribe, sí, es así.
Nosotros cuando prestamos servicio, nosotros supimos de muchos paramilitares. Eso no es raro, eso es normal. Siempre nos mantenemos, siempre hemos estado juntos. Como me dice él ahorita el día, si quiere se va usted y me deja solo, para que usted sí sabe hablar, usted es el que más habla, usted sí le ayuda. Yo me quedo solo, hágale tranquilo, usted no se queda aquí por mí, no sé. Yo no lo voy a dejar solo, nunca lo voy a dejar solo. Es mi hermano y porque tengo que hacer eso no se hace. Yo estoy con él y con él voy a estar siempre. Y siempre hemos estado así. Comemos juntos, dormimos juntos, nacimos juntos, trabajamos juntos. Todo va a ser así siempre. Y si vamos a sufrir, vamos a sufrir juntos.
Bueno, pues con esos 30.000 que les di, almuerzan por lo menos.
Sí, señor.
Dios me lo bendiga.
Muchas gracias. ¿Cuánto nos está salvando?
No, con mucho gusto.
Muchas gracias.
Y que les vaya muy bien, mucha suerte.
Gracias.
Bueno,
muchas gracias.
hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
So those guys we just talked to, they're from Ciudad Bolívar, which is a pueblo that's about like 3 hours from Medellin. And like they were telling me, the guerrilla came to their farm and told them to plant coca. And they said, no, we do not do that. We do not get involved with that. And then because they said no, the guerrilla came and destroyed all their plants. And they destroyed them in a specific way so that they could not replant them. Because if you rip the yuca, which is cassava, out of the ground, if it still has a little root at the bottom, you can replant it. But they chopped it up in a specific way so that they could not replant it, and they had a total loss. It takes 8 months for the yuca to develop fully, and they were scared. You know, they've lived there their whole life, and they've seen all the armed groups. They were in the army, and they know how it goes, so they know that their lives were in danger if they stayed. So they came here. They've been here only 4 days, and that's the reality that we're seeing here in Colombia. And a lot of people say, oh, the armed groups, they're only in El Chocó, they're only in Norte Santander, they're only in Arauca, they're only in El Bajo Cauca. But nah, they're here 3 hours from Medellin, in Ciudad Bolívar, and in el suroeste de Antioquia. So they even went to the alcaldía, to the government offices, to ask for help as displaced peoples. And they didn't believe it. I mean, they didn't want to help them because they said that shit doesn't exist anymore. In the countryside, y'all can see in Colombia, it's a very long history of violence. And still today, in 2023, that shit is still going on. So I'm really grateful to those guys. I gave them 30,000 pesos so that they could go with something to eat. They told me they hadn't eaten anything since lunch yesterday. So, crazy guys. Guys, so here in the park of San Antonio, as y'all can see behind me, we have an interesting piece of our history here in Medellin, Antioquia. Unfortunately, our violent history. So, there was a bomb placed on this statue made by the famous Medellin artist Fernando Botero on June 10th of 1995. In this very park, in El Parque San Antonio, there was actually an artisan market going on, and there was artists coming down from the Atlantic coast of Colombia to try to make stronger ties between the city of Medellin and Cartagena. So there was a lot of people here, as you could imagine, since there was a market going on. They put a bomb right here, and they left the statue exactly how it was, after the bomb destroyed it. Y'all can see this is a bronze statue, completely blew the whole thing up. And here right behind it, you have El Colombiano article, the Colombian newspaper that reported on the incident. It says, on Saturday's terrorist attack, 28 people were killed and 200 were injured. There's a reward of 500 million pesos for any information over the people who committed this act. So back in the narco era of Colombia, whenever the government did something that the narcos didn't like, the narcos would put a bomb as an act of rebellion against the government, as a statement to say that we do not like what you're doing, we're the bosses here, and if you keep fucking with us, we're gonna keep doing this stuff. And in Medellin, in Bogota, and other cities of Colombia, there were bombs placed in public areas, in parks, in places where there was a lot of people, to create fear and to force the government to cooperate, and to force the government to, you know, leave the narcos alone. They said, if you don't mess with us, we won't mess with y'all. And unfortunately in Colombia, in those times, it was very common to see bombs placed on the streets, and people lived in fear for their life all the time, because they never knew if they would turn a corner, if they would have to, you know, go to the city center, go to a busy place, if a bomb was going to go off and kill them. So here you go, guys. Botero made a new sculpture, kind of to say, fuck you. And they put it right next to the old one and the very article that came out reporting on the incident, which is a pretty cool thing. And these are all the people who died right here. Bueno, ¿cómo son tus nombres? Jessica. Angie. Y ustedes me dijeron que viven en Santo Domingo Sabio. ¿Han alguna vez sido víctimas de un acoso o algún robo o algún tipo de violencia? Pero si escuchan mucho de qué pasa.
Sí, muchos conocidos, las que trabajan en la calle.
Y ustedes cuando andan en la calle, pues, ¿cómo hacen como para...?
Se siente uno las miradas, se siente muy...
Sí. Y sobre todo acá en el centro, pues, por donde sea.
Sí, más que todo en el centro y más en las partes más solas.
Ajá.
Entonces, por ejemplo, cuando uno va acompañado, pues, se siente uno mucho más seguro, pero cuando va solo, sí se siente como más el miedo.
Sé que, pues, en mi canal ven muchos extranjeros. Entonces, ¿qué consejo les daría a ellos como para evitar ser víctimas de un robo o algún...?
Sí, estar acompañados.
Salir acompañado.
Porque normalmente ven a una persona también extranjera y le quieren hacer el daño. Pero muchas veces, cuando hay una persona que es de otro lado,
Ajá.
Se aprovechan más fácil.
Sí.
Entonces, por eso también...
O sea, tratar como de...
Tenemos tan mala imagen porque siempre al turista le quieren hacer
no,
daño. Sí.
Pues de no presentarse tanto como un extranjero.
Sí.
¿Y ustedes creen que en los últimos años se ha puesto más insegura la ciudad? ¿O igual?
Yo siento que sí.
Más insegura.
Entre más día hay más formas de robarle a uno, inventan más cosas.
Pues a pesar de todo eso, ¿les sigue gustando vivir acá en Medellín?
Sí.
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 ¿Y han visitado otras partes del país?
No, pues ya hasta el momento no, siempre estaba en Medellín.
Ah, ok.
No he salido fuera de la ciudad.
¿Usted qué cree que podría hacer el gobierno, la alcaldía, como para mejorar la seguridad?
Más presencia del Estado. Es que hay muchos lugares en los que se siente mucho la ausencia del Estado.
Ajá.
Entonces es donde más se presentan robos, violaciones, ese tipo de cosas. Muchas veces las autoridades pasan y es como si no estuvieran viendo nada.
Y no hace nada, mucha gente dice eso.
Más presencia del Estado, es que no se siente la presencia del Estado.
Hay mucha gente que dice que en los barrios donde mandan pues las bandas, que ellos hacen el mejor trabajo que la policía en cuanto a la seguridad. Sí, ¿ustedes están de acuerdo con eso?
lo bendiga.
So here in the center of Medellin, I feel like the culture of the city is very concentrated. I feel like it's a good way to get a well-rounded perspective of the city, to talk to people from all different parts of the city and get like I said, a well-rounded opinion and perspective of the topics that I want to discuss relating to Medellin. And the center of Medellin is similar to the center of any other Colombian city. It is where people go to buy things for cheap. You can get all types of things here. You see socks, bras, sports clothing. Obviously the people selling fruits and juices. This street is about clothes specifically. Obviously, you know, anything, shoes, belts. Here you got the sugarcane juice, backpacks. Guys, so if y'all know anything about Medellin, y'all know about El Parque Botero, where the art of Medellin's own Fernando Botero is displayed, the sculptures. And it's a park that the government is currently doing an operation on. As y'all can see, there are now police checkpoints at all of the entrances to the parks, and if they think that you look suspicious, they will search you. Because if y'all been to the park before, y'all will know that there was a lot of illegal shit going on there. There was people sniffing glue, there was people smoking crack, there was prostitutes. There was just a whole bunch of debauchery going on there. And it is a touristic point in Medellin. People from all over the world who come to Medellin go there. So it's kind of a bad representation of the city if it's all filled with prostitutes and drug users and it's all dirty and beat down. So the government did something about it. And I mean, really all they did was move all of the addicts and the prostitutes outside of the park to these surrounding areas. Parque Barrio is right there. So now Parque Barrio and these surrounding areas have more suspicious people lurking around that used to be in El Parque Botero. You know, it's not really a solution, but it's just kind of a way to make it look better and not give such an ugly face to an important place in Medellin. So here we are, we're under the metro. I always see a lot of people knocked out on the street over here. Selling some chicha from Venezuela. Guys, so here you can see that the park is barricaded off, and there's only certain points where you can go in through. So, what's going on over here? Yo, this lady is doing brujeria over here, bro.
Cuando el guarapo se acaban, los conchos también son buenos, sí señor. Para tomar agüita en pitillo.
Somebody told me to stop filming. He was like, the guys around here won't like it if you're filming. They could, you know, do something to you. So be careful, the guy told me. So I'm trying to be discreet with it. But yeah, man. Yeah, guys, even just right outside the barricade, there's people smoking crack. I'm gonna go into the park to show y'all. It's kind of like a safe zone in there. So this is the checkpoint. And now we're in the park. So as y'all can tell, there's a lot less people using drugs in here. Usually they would be laid up all over that lawn over there. Would be, you know, guys sleeping who were just knocked out from the drugs. The prostitutes would be over here. So they made this place more safe for the tourists who want to come here and take pictures and, you know, see this important place. guys, so I made it here to the government buildings of Antioquia. This is the building for the government of the Department of Antioquia, and right across from it is the Alcaldía, or the local government of the city of Medellin. Right here in the center is El Monumento al Pueblo Antioqueño. I think that's the name of it, which translates to the monument to the Antioquian people. And this monument has a lot of mythology involved in it. It has a lot of history involved in it, having to do with the struggles that the colonizers went through to survive here in this rugged territory deep within the mountains.
¿Esas qué son?
Son arepitas de puro queso.
Arepas de queso. ¿Y a cuántos son?
A 2.000. Que no tengo mucho tiempo acá.
Ah, ¿de dónde
De
eres?
Venezuela.
Ah, de Venezuela. ¿Hace cuánto llegó?
Hace 2 meses apenas.
¿A Colombia o a Medellín? Ah, ok. ¿Y usted vendía arepas allá o está apenas empezando? Guys, so I got an arepa de queso. As y'all can see, I've never seen it like this small before, and it's really nice. It's sweet, it's really soft, and the outside is kind of like toasty and nice. The lady was kind of shy for the camera, which is fine. You know, not everybody likes the camera. A Venezuelan lady, she says she just got here, so you know, as y'all know, the economic crisis in Venezuela that's been going on for a long time, and people are still coming and trying to find a better life in other places. So let's try this. It's really hot. Let's try it. Nice. It's a nice balance between sweet and salty. One thing you'll see a lot in Colombia is holes like these in the ground, and holes here over these little, I don't even know what this is, but what people do is they basically steal the covering, which I think is made of iron, and they sell it for scrap metal to have money for drugs. So unfortunately, that's a big problem we have here in Colombia, in the cities of any Colombian city. There's just holes everywhere. Look, this is what I was talking about. This. Here, there's 2 more. It's all over the place. So here we can see a silletero, which is part of the culture of Antioquia. There's a saying that when a silletero passes by, Antioquia is passing by. And those are the campesinos, the farmers who live high in the mountains and grow flowers, and then they would come down to the city and sell them with these wooden, they would call it silletas, but it's like a wooden table that they carry on their back filled with flowers. And there he is, and the lady sewing. One thing that might be important for y'all to know, some of y'all might already know this, some of y'all not, is that in Colombia it is not common for people to have iPhones. The only people who have iPhones are people who have money. And I know for us in the United States and Europe, you know, in all those first world countries, it's very normal for everyone to have an iPhone. But here it's not. So you don't really want to be using it in the street. Don't walk with your head in your phone. Always be mindful of your surroundings, be looking around. That's something that I think is important for y'all to know. If you're gonna come here, don't be flashing your iPhone around on the street. As y'all can see, we're not in the centro anymore, we're in a barrio. And all of those comunas over there, 13 Noviembre is the one where the metro cable station is. El Faro, higher up. La Sierra is in the back. Enciso El Pinal is the one in like the middle over here. And where we're currently at is Buenos Aires. So it's a calm neighborhood. I mean, it is a barrio, it is a comuna, but it's pretty safe, it's pretty calm. I don't feel in danger here. So here y'all can see again the silletero. You see he like wraps a strap around his head to support the weight of the silleta. And that's how they look like. That's the structure of it, where they carry all the flowers. yeah. If y'all seen one of my previous videos where I go to Santa Elena is in those mountains right above Buenos Aires. Guys, Buenos Aires is actually a pretty calm spot to live. So if any of y'all that speak Spanish very well and that want to be away from the gringos in Medellin, this is a calm place. It's safe, it's very central. There's a lot of restaurants, and there's a lot of, you know, there's a good vibe around here. I really like the vibes here. In case y'all don't want to live in El Poblado, or in Laureles, or in El Estadio, and all those places where all the gringos go, Buenos Aires is a good option. And the rent here is very cheap. And guys, one thing that you have to learn to do in Colombia and in any other Latin American country is use your intuition. When I got robbed, this guy called me over. It was dark, it was a lonely street. That's another tip, avoid lonely streets, although that one's pretty obvious. If I had really listened to my intuition, I would have realized that he had a bad energy about him. There was a weird vibe about the guy, and the fact that he was calling me over on a dark street, I kind of just stayed put and I let him get close to me. Well, that was the biggest mistake that I could have ever made. And he started talking to me. He started, you know, asking me where am I from. He was like, yo, somos de la vuelta, and that means like we run the gangs around here. And he started asking me a million questions, which is another strategy that the robbers use, is that they ask you, where are you from? What are you doing here? Are you using drugs? So he started patting me down like he was the police. And then the other two dudes, since I was focused on the dude who was in front of me, came into my sides and they started putting their hands in my pockets. And I resisted a bit, and he was like, yo, be careful, and you're gonna fuck around, get stabbed. He said, cuidado mijo, se hace chuzar. And then, you know, it could have been avoided. It honestly could have been avoided. But I did not use my intuition. I did not follow my senses, and I let it happen. So after that experience, I'm, you know, less trusting. I move differently, and I always knew that it could happen. But you know, you got to be prepared at any moment. I was near my house in Envigado when it happened, and I always thought I was pretty safe around there. But really, you're not safe anywhere, even if you're in a good area. So just something to keep in mind. At any moment, in any place, no matter where you're at, you can get robbed, something can happen. So always keep your eyes out. Don't let anybody get close to you on the street. Yo guys, it's fucking madness here in San Antonio. Gee, I didn't expect it to be this full. Look at all the people. It's a super warm night. Hasn't been this warm in a while. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I'm here in San Antonio now. I'm about to head on the train, about to head on the metro and go back to my house. We talked a little bit about the history of Colombia, a little bit about some safety issues. Hopefully you found it valuable, you learned something new. And yeah, guys, I got a lot more stuff coming. So anyways, guys, yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Shoot me a comment if you have any questions, if you found anything interesting, if you have any ideas for future videos, and like the video, subscribe, and thank you guys. Peace.